Once again, you already know what it is, and you already know where you have reached the number one collaborative professional wrestling podcast anywhere on this planet. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you to my immediate left, your immediate right, the one and only Conrad Cushman, representing everything pro wrestling. Yours truly, the name is Sean, the last name is Hubbard. Hubbard Wrestling Weekly is what I do, and I'm here representing with the big homie Conrad Cushman as we present collectively Clash of the Podcast, and we are fired up for another big-time episode, man. Raw is overseas. Some of you may have seen it. Some of you are going to probably watch afterwards. If you have seen it, cool. If you haven't seen it, cool. We're going to do a little poll. My good friend Conrad said we're going to do a little poll, pause, and talk and ask everybody if they want to
play.
I knew you were going to say that. And see if they want to talk about Raw and get the spoiler, even though it was a live edition on Netflix, if you were watching from work or watching from your car or watching from your house or watching from wherever. But either way, we're going to talk about up-to-date professional wrestling news, not including Monday Night Raw, unless we decide to at the very end. So with that being said, on behalf of Conrad, I'm Sean. We're ready to rock and roll. There's only one thing left to say, and I'm the one who usually says it, so I'm going to say it right now. Conrad, my brother, drop that thing.
Welcome. This is episode 133 of Clash of the Podcast. Another lovely edition. Lots to get into. It's going to be light on the AEW talk this week. We went heavy last week. This week's going to be more WWE, I'd say, and then a little bit of TNA. We'll talk a little Sacrifice as well here. Let's get into who's here, man. Clown.
1-3-Z, 4-Tweezy in the building. What up, though?
He says, afternoon, everyone. It is really weird watching Raw before work. Facts.
Yeah, touche, I agree.
Facts. XG Dub in the house was good.
X Jizzle, what up, though?
MJB in the place to be says, what up, Ooses? I'm curious if Cena is going to change the AA back to the FU and the STFU. I don't know.
By the way.
I don't think he will. I can't see it.
By the way, MJB in the place to be, I want to let you know that we're getting it popping in this dancery. Don't need no hateration, holleration. So just dance for me.
She's coming here next week.
There you go.
Might be going. We'll see.
Nice.
No. I was originally supposed to go. I to do a free ticket.
Well, listen. Sometimes it bees that way.
Quills, what's good?
Quilly.
He says, what up, Conrad, Sean, and Chat? Your boy, Sir Quills, is back again to enjoy my two favorite bros, CJ and Hubs, for episode 133 of the best wrestling podcast out today, Clash of the By God Podcast. Hashtag EPW.
Yeah.
Hashtag
too, bro.
HWW. Thank you, Quills. We appreciate that. All love, brother. All love. Ray Thompson in the house. Happy Monday, guys. Hope everyone had a great weekend.
Happy birthday. If I get this wrong, Ray, forgive me. Blame my head, not my heart. Happy birthday to your father or father-in-law. Let me know.
It's someone's birthday that you know. Happy birthday to him.
Yes.
Gotta be. I'm going to take that gamble. Quills, we're going to be talking about that too. The Street Profits are finally tag team champs again. So many questions why wasn't in the U.S.? Why did it take so long? And, of course, why couldn't Bianca and Montez be champs at the same time? Because those are amongst other things that are good ideas. And you know what that means. That's a Sean Hubbard special.
And Quilly, listen, me and you are very much on the same page. These questions are very hard to answer from a logical person's standpoint. M. Leezy Faux Sheezy says, hello, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. Let's kick the week off right with the two aces of our pro wrestling community. We appreciate you, M. Leezy Faux Sheezy.
Matthew, thank you, good sir. Matt reminded me, I put before Raw when I did my stuff, because I'm so used to putting, we'll be live before Raw on Netflix. It's actually after this week and the next couple weeks. So watch me do it for the next few, and then I'll screw up when it returns back. But thank you, Matt, for keeping us lined up. My guy Will Gamble says, Europe was good, everybody. Watching Monday afternoon Raw and then going to catch y'all on the replay. Appreciate it. Guy Will Gamble, I did not forget about you. I saw your message. I have to just find time to talk. That's how bad my life is sometimes, I promise you.
Your life is not bad, just busy.
Sometimes having no time is bad, but I'm going to I'll carve out some time for you. That's the one thing I wish I could have.
Guy Will Gamble, appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah, he's got some ideas for us, Sean.
Let's do it.
Matt says it was a good week of pro wrestling. We had TNA Sacrifice, MLP, Maple Leaf Pro, AEW, GCW, Hog Wrestling, and I think Indy Hartwell had a good match with Mercedes. That's good for Indy. She needs that. So yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Deanna.
Hello to you too, Deanna.
She says, hey, everyone. Appreciate you. Prophet should have had those titles before now for sure. Yeah.
Talk your talk, Deanna. Amen.
Yeah, people are saying long overdue. Doug, another Monday, another clash. Sean, chat, teach me. And this is where Sean hits the patented Dougie. He's teaching you how to Dougie. There you
go.
Hub, time travel back to 1987. How are all of those seat fillers in the Silver Dome?
I'll tell you something, Emily. I have used this backdrop before, but I was inspired to do so specifically today because they did a 1987 WrestleMania 3 throwback during Monday Night Raw this evening that had me feeling nostalgic, and they mentioned that Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage are widely considered to be the greatest match in WrestleMania history. And I may not necessarily agree with that, but I definitely do not disagree with that. Does that make any sense?
Yes and no. I'm trying to think.
I don't think there's a strong. Okay, here we go. There's a strong argument that it may not be the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, but there is a strong argument that it could make it the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. There's TLC 2. There's Hogan and Rock. There's Undertaker Triple H. But Macho and Steamboat have stood the test of time.
Yeah. I can rattle off usually my top 5 pretty quick for Mania matches, and I still had for a long time Steamboat and Savage on there. I think it changed how wrestling matches are wrestled, especially like WCW television title matches, quick near falls. Like I wish I could take people back in time and let them listen, especially the young podcasters. Say, I know this is going to make me sound old headish and but whatever. Like, I wish I could take you back so that you could understand why what they did is special and why people talk about it a lot. Versus like you just seeing the clips of it and people are like, oh yeah, I know about that. I'm like, no, you don't understand why this was so special and why this. I watched that match so many times, Sean, on cable specials. If I saw it on, I'm like, oh, Macho Man Ricky Steamboat. Let me check this out again, man. It's a classic match. Go back
Can I take 5 minutes to dive into WrestleMania 3? I just less than 5 minutes, 2 minutes. The wrestling fan of today, and I'm going to take my turn to sound like Uncle Hubs. People of today's generation, and you're more than entitled to be your Cena guy and your Roman Reigns guy, all valid and all sustainable in the test of time. You want to talk about storylines? I know I don't like them anymore because of some real life situations that have happened. Hogan and Andre is one of the greatest professional wrestling storylines of all time. And for all the times that I've made fun of WWE, WWE has given us the gift in the network. And with that gift comes old school wrestling challenge episodes. Now, why am I talking about old school wrestling challenge episodes? Maybe not even Conrad knows why I'm bringing up old school wrestling challenge episodes. I'm not just talking about the epic Piper's Pit, 2 or 3 episodes of Piper's Pit that set the stage for WrestleMania 3. I'm talking about 6 weeks before that, where Bobby the Brain Heenan simply said during one instance in commentary, you know, that Hogan's a selfish guy. Andre deserves better, and then going to a commercial. And then the next week, you know something, Gorilla? At the end of the day, Monsoon, Andre deserves better. Andre's the greatest wrestler. I don't know what. And then the wheels start turning. And you start wondering why Bobby the Brain Heenan, a heel manager, is giving props to a babyface Andre the Giant. And then the weeks go by, and the weeks go by, and the weeks go by. It gives me goosebumps just to think about it. So that's where I'm at with it.
At the WrestleMania, I will challenge you, Hulk Hogan. He ripped my cross, dude. He ripped my cross. You're bleeding. Sorry, that's my Piper. You're bleeding, Hulk.
so while we here in 2025, and believe me, nobody loves the bloodline more than me, talk about how the bloodline has ruled for 4 years. Yeah, but back in the 80s and the 90s, look, Conrad, I don't mind sharing my age. I'm 38 years old, bro. Me and Conrad have the wonderful advantage, Conrad, I would say, of knowing all the generations in our conscious lifetimes. We were babies when the 80s came out. We were teenagers during the 90s. We were college kids during the 2000s, and now we're grown men in the new era. And I just want to throw that out there. Just do your research. That's all I ask.
Trust people in our age range. Well, not all of them. Trust us. Yeah, be careful who you trust actually out there. But when we talk wrestling, just know I'm not coming from a place of hatred. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to ask some interesting questions today. We got some ones in the chat. If you guys want to talk Raw today, like I said, make sure you put that one in there. I see a couple, so thank you for that. Someone said it was the best WrestleMania match in the first 10 WrestleManias. Bret Owens still might be the greatest opener of all time. I think that's up for debate. You could probably put that up there against like Triple H and was it Danielson?
I give a big shout out to Doug for that comment. And I love the comment. It shows that you're being fair. My challenge back to you would be from 11 to 20, or if you want to go 11 all the way to 40, which one is better? I would love to hear your thoughts.
What do you mean between?
He said it's the best WrestleMania match. Talking about Steamboat and Savage in the first 10 WrestleMania. So I'm challenging Doug because I respect his opinion to tell me, okay, great, I appreciate that. From 11 through 40, give me a match that's better.
Interesting. I can think of I can think of a few. Okay. Looks like you got your wish, Kyra. Someone took notice of Fuego del Sol, and he is booked for a loser leaves GCW match for spring break against Atticus Cougar. Yes, that should be fun. Ray Thompson said, "Thank you, guys." It was the father-in-law. Well, you let him know. You let him know he got a shout out on a podcast because of you. Get you in the good graces. Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho from 19 is underrated. I see a lot of people say that. I like that one a lot. I don't have it in my top 5, but yeah. Ladder match, Mania 23, AJ and Shane are my favorite openers. I just watched 23 last night, actually.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Parts of it. AJ and Shane, I was there live for, so that's different to me. It's different. I've never watched the 2 Manias I went to. I never went back and watched them.
You should. I saw myself in the crowd for both.
Well, I told Sean one day, before we get to WrestleMania 50, I want to be caught up on like all the Manias. I said this for 42. I want to have like a little review or something about all of them, but I don't know how long that's going to take.
Okay, a little behind the scenes spoiler alert, or behind the scenes look behind the curtain. I'm big on nostalgia. I like to do reviews. Conrad says I need to chill because it's not really marketable in 2025.
Well, they're not going to help you. Let me say that. The company. Because they don't seem to care about that. Well, I won't say they don't care. I feel like they're going to monetize.
I think our audience cares.
I think they would, but I'm saying the company's not going to help you. I feel like they're moving away from that.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but I'm going to put some shine on some other places here since I know we're not going to get into too much, but Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 13 is coming up. You might see some different names on there. Layla Hirsch, Natty Neidhart, Yamashita's going to be there. We got Timothy Thatcher, Simon Gotch, Royce Isaacs. The names keep adding up. So Thursday, April 17th, make sure you are checking out this show from Vegas. This will kind of be like your little WrestleMania build up, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
going into it. I'm interested to see what Natty does over there. Good for her.
Yeah, that might be a sign she's on her way out the door, but I'm just saying.
Hey, no, she just resigned. Remember, that was the whole big deal, and then she's not doing much. But
gotcha.
Maple Leaf Mayhem, that bundle is still up there. They have announced another show for May, so if you guys are interested in Maple Leaf Pro, go and check it out. I had fun with this show as well. It was good to see Bishop Dyer, former Baron Corbin, just to see him get loose a little bit and get out there. I thought Rich Swann performed tremendously. Sheldon Jean, someone who I took a lot of notice of on that card. I had a lot of fun with that. And Sean's favorite, Kushida. If you know, you know. Sean's not a fan of that bubble jacket. And let's get a little quick brain thinker here. This one's for Sean. Chat, feel free to chime in with this. Fantasy booking. Savage and Hogan are injured, and the WWF needs to crown a new champion. Sean, who do you pick? No time to think. You're right in front of the boss, and he's asking you, who do you think? What do you do?
Andre, respectfully, is too injured with his bad back. Steamboat is too wishy-washy. Hacksaw is more of a novelty act. Brutus Beefcake, never. I'm going Ravishing Rick Rude.
Wow. I saw some people pick Jake. I thought this was very interesting. I think you could even go, if you could get Dusty Rhodes, I think that would also be a
well, Dusty Rhodes is not on the list.
No. The Hercules is up here, for goodness sakes. You can pick anyone. You can pick Piper if you
can't be confusing me and our viewing audience, okay? You put 8 guys up here.
I will say it's list only if it's list only.
Oh, it's a bunch of crap. You're always trying to swerve somebody.
Bro. So listen, the swerve is gone, bro. You can pick whoever you want, bro.
Well,
I'm going Tank Abbott, bro.
No, in that case, no. In that case, I would go Dusty as well. I love that idea.
Yeah, Dusty would be my pick. I'm interested. Chat's popping.
But no, you know what? No. I cannot. I'm mad at myself.
What?
I'm mad at myself because I missed the obvious one.
Who?
Mr. Perfect.
You want to know the heel name I thought of? I would have went $1 Million Man for a heel.
I
think I always wanted to see him with the title and what he could have done with it, but it never really got to that point.
Freaking honky tonk man.
With my long side burns and my head slicked back.
No, but I'm going Perfect. I'm going Kurt Hennig.
Okay. With the genius?
No. With Heenan.
Yeah, the best version. T. Ferg said, what up, fellas? Hope all is good. How did the SEC get 14 teams in the tournament? I thought they were a football conference.
Yo, Ferg, listen, shout out to you, bro. I've been following the tournament as well. People don't know that I'm a big college basketball fan as well as a college football fan. The SEC is turning into a basketball conference again, man. Well, not again, for the first time ever, really.
Let's see here. Eddie and Kurt from WrestleMania 20. Oh, that was to your question to Doug.
Yeah.
The Crees did Bloodsport. They have a good relationship with WWE.
Yeah.
Matt Lopez said Jake the Snake. Clown said Jake the Snake. BJ says Ravishing Rick Rude.
Simply ravishing.
What is this? Did I hear Punk right there say anything about the 4 Horsemen? I didn't hear that because as far as I'm concerned, looks like the Horsemen were here, took a jump in the chat and left. LOL. Razor would always be a solid choice depending on how deep we get into it. I hope you are well, my dudes. Appreciate you, Beach. Welcome.
Hope you are well as well, BJ. And let's call a spade. And I've mentioned these three guys more times than I can count. And I'm going to mention them forever. You know why? Because they deserve it. Owen Hart, Scott Hall, and Kurt Hennig should have been WWE and or WCW World Champion. It is no debate.
He rests his case, folks. He rests his case. Sean, let's get into some of the early rumors. Do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com reports that one source claimed to FightfulSelect.com that Jeff Cobb is already on its WWE internal roster. Look, Jeff Cobb is a very respectable professional wrestling talent, has been for quite some time. Has kind of cut his teeth in organizations like New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as obviously Ring of Honor. It wouldn't be a bad pickup, but again, my confusion / concern about a pickup like this would be, what would you do with him? and I have a pretty solid in chat. Let me know what you think, Conrad. Let me know what you think. Samoa Joe comes to mind. What did they do with Joe? So my question is, if they weren't able to do anything with Joe, what would they be able to do with Jeff Cobb?
I think Jeff Cobb. See, I think if Triple H was around, Joe would have stayed around.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jeff Cobb is the guy who would get booked like Joe. I think he's someone you put in NXT. He's 2?
Yeah, he's getting up there. But here's the thing. My guy, Derek, I see you, brother. Listen, do you still count NXT as like, okay, Joe's a 2-time NXT champion. Does that mean anything to you?
It did back then.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel now. I'm not as into NXT. I know they just put on a great show. I know everyone's about to probably...
No. Let me clarify my statement, because I feel like I'm doing you a disservice, Conrad, by not expressing myself correctly so that you can give an accurate answer. We all like NXT more back in the day, especially NXT Gold and Black. What my question should be more like, in the annals of time, will an NXT championship reign? That's the better question. In the annals of time, will an NXT championship reign mean anything?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. It depends, because NXT is weird because it's kind of, what does it mean to you and what does it mean in the focus of what we're talking about? Mm-hmm. If you want to say like, oh, NXT is great. Okay, well, why? Because it's a great place to develop talent. But then if it's in the case of like something bad with NXT, it's like, well, it's just developmental. Calm down. Like, you didn't do anything great.
Good point, Conrad. Good point.
Yeah. And listen, y'all can call me a hater. I don't really care right now at this point. They do deflection with it. Like, well, then what is NXT? That is my question then. But we continue on with Andrade El Idolo.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Andrade. The tweet is the word simply waiting with 3 exclamation points. I'm not a big fan of throwing subs on social media. Either say what you need to say or don't, but I think we all know what that means. Because you know what? Subs allow you to have a back door to get out of what you're saying. Oh, what are you talking about? I didn't say anything derogatory about WWE. When everybody in their right mind can pretty much pick up on the fact that he's saying he's waiting for either a change in his character or waiting to leave the company.
Subliminals is what he is referring to when he says subs, folks.
Yes,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Andrade's so weird. He left, like AEW gave him like the royal treatment on the way out, and then he gets over there and
don't forget he's divorced from Charlotte.
Well, that was everyone's excuse why he's probably just happy because he's over there. Well, now that's not the case. So now what's the issue?
Yep.
Or sometimes this is a good question to ask people too, and I'm not saying this just because it's on WWE side, but is it the talent? Why are you always unhappy? Did I not treat you well? I mean, you can't. Here's the thing. You could play that game back and forth, but eventually you're going to burn a side and they're not going to want to do anything with you.
True.
Wouldn't he just fill the same role as Bronson Reed? Ooh, could be. I'm a big Femi and Saints fan, but NXT will never matter as much as it once did. Ooh, Ray. If Cobb gets signed, worry about those others they hired. Where's Andrade? Touche. Takeover New Orleans is still a goated show. Absolutely.
Agreed, Ray Thompson. I agree.
Speaking of hiring and firing, wasn't Alba Fire released and came back? And Isla Dawn was the one removed. Alba Fire got switched over to this Chelsea Green thing, which I don't understand how you fire a tag team and you're like, you stay and you can't. Like, why?
WWE logic.
Don't know where that's going.
Speaking of tag teams.
Yeah. Ray Phoenix, WWE deal is almost complete, and WWE plans to reunite Penta and Phoenix as the Lucha Brothers. What do you think of this, Sean? Because my next thing goes into this too, and I might as well pull it up. Are they being united, or are they teasing Ray Phoenix by himself? Because this aired during SmackDown, and did they show this tonight? I wasn't watching my feed all the time.
I did not see this, but that doesn't mean anything because I was doing other things with my family. Look, the bottom line is this, bro. Penta is doing a really good job as a singles guy. To reunite the team would be, in my word, the word I would come up with is lazy. To reunite them, at least right away. They could be associated with each other, but to put them directly into a tag team, I think would be lazy because Penta is doing his thing right now. But it is nice to hear that Ray Phoenix's career, it is nice that Ray Phoenix is going to have an opportunity to have a career resurgence in WWE. Will it be as successful as Penta? Time will tell.
For sure. Speaking of four mystery teaser aired during SmackDown. What is this? What is it for?
I don't know. The fact that Triple H, I don't know. Maybe Triple H is bringing in a new team. Maybe it's the Wyatt 4 instead of the Wyatt 6. I'm spitballing here.
Alistair, maybe return.
Oh, there you go. You just answered the question. See, you just answered the question right there.
It could be a countdown. If we see 3 on SmackDown, maybe we will. I think SmackDown is the place that's going to need some more of the talent, but I don't know what they're doing. Don't even get me started on this draft stuff. We'll talk more about that.
Hashtag what draft?
Yep. Hashtag what draft is real. But yeah, I'd like to see something done here. Like I said, they've got a lot of talent. I think, though, Sean, I'm going to make a little early prediction on this. I know everyone's going to be like, yeah, the roster is stacked. It's back. Be careful what you ask for.
WWE's on fire right now. Oh, by the way, may I, Conrad, I need 30 seconds of Triple H bashing, okay? I don't want to hear another single. Quilly will fill me on this. I think Derek will fill me on this. I think Guy will gamble. T. Ferg, Ray, everybody will fill me on this. I don't want to hear another soul tell me that Triple H is not a glory hog limelight fiend. This dude has a whole King of Kings promotion going on right now about his Hall of Fame induction. Shout out to M. Leezy who showed me this on social media. Could Triple H be looking for any more spotlight? For God's sake. And this guy is humble. This guy wants to sit in the back and watch other people shine. Give me a break.
Bow down to the king.
I mean, how much more? I mean, good Lord. This dude, and I promise you, WrestleMania 41. WrestleMania, welcome to WrestleMania. Time to play the game.
Well, he might not come out in the beginning because he's going to have to come out later.
I'm just saying.
You know, when they tried out the Hall of Fame with that same music they've been using since like 2005. Yeah.
I'm just saying, Triple H, let's stop the crap about Triple H doesn't love the limelight. He lives off of it.
I looked at the people for 23 yesterday when they came out, and I was so sad when I just thought about, in hindsight, like where all of them are, and they've all like passed away. It's like watching WrestleMania 7. Like I listened to a review of that this week too, and I was just like, man, I'm so sad. Like every time I just think, I'm like, all these guys are gone now, man, and they should be here to enjoy like what they did now.
The fruits of their labor. It is a shame, yeah.
Yeah, Clown said RVD. That was good. Race, I'm excited for Black to return. I wasn't a fan of his run in AEW. I'll be quiet. MJP says, I like the Nexus takeover. It seems like that new Temu bootleg knockoff Shield and NXT may do the same. Yeah, I'm over it. Hashtag what brand split? The only draft is in the GM and 2K25. More like trade.
There you go.
I think Miro should have stayed, though. We're going to talk about Miro, I think, here in a second. Emphasis on the lack of Hall of Fame inductions this year. You could tell me you couldn't find some old WCW and ECW guys to induct. Give me a break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hunter is patting himself on the back like Barry Horowitz Jr. You did that too well, Sean.
I know.
Oh,
jeez.
WWE has discussed calling The Rock and John Cena The Rock and Soul Connection. This is from Russell Votes on Sportskeeda Backstage Pass. What? What?
The Rock and Soul Connection.
Yeah, I'm gonna say never.
For all the people in the back who have brains, which is everybody in here, for all the people on the show, Conrad and myself, who have brains, just in case you might be one person out of a million that doesn't understand the reference, John Cena sold his soul to The Rock, so now I guess it'll be The Rock and Soul. That's the dumbest crap I've ever heard. I pray to God this is not true. Oh,
I smell it. I smell it. Yo, Quills is not happy. He said the epitome of incompetence.
I don't blame Quilly for feeling the way he feels, bro. Like, this is ludicrous. This can't be real. I refuse to think that they could be that ignorant.
I don't have much to say on that. No comment. Let me see here. Ray Thompson said, I wish Black had more of a singles run. Listen, I'll say this with a lot of these things. We either are going to say Tony Khan lets the talent have too much power or Tony Khan gets all of the blame. To me, I think you have to spread it out with Tony Khan because it's clear he doesn't have all of the power. I shouldn't say all of the power. He has the power to make a choice, but Tony doesn't always exercise that power. He lets you have the choice, and then if it's bad, he's like, maybe I shouldn't have let you do that. That was a bad idea. And sometimes he said the ideas have worked as well. It goes both ways. There are some weird things, like the only cage match to ever have escape as a way to win. I'll let you look up who was in those matches. That's usually because someone doesn't want to eat a pen or lose that way. Just saying. Many different things. How about the Rock and corny connections? Terrible. I was thinking maybe because Cena was supposed to be the heart and soul of WWE. They tried. McKinney said, I'm here to talk wrestle with the Fire live chat, the two best there is in the game, Clash of the Podcast, and to let y'all know, sometimes you got to cut off limbs that are damaging your tree. Let's go.
McKinney, that's good stuff, brother.
This is lunacy at its finest. I'm throwing up in my mouth regurgitation. The Rock and Soul Connection would be just as bad as the Pure Fusion Collective. Wow. This is The Rock showing up and doing whatever he wants. The Rock and Soul Connection makes I can't even repeat that.
It's making my microphone fall down. It's pathetic.
It's making someone's itch. The Itchy and Scratchy Show. All right, so let's talk a little bit of what happened on Raw last week, Sean, real quick. We had a CM Punk, Seth Rollins cage match. Did you know Tommy Dreamer said to find him a better cage match, Sean, he said no blood. He put a lot of stipulations on it. No blood. This was the best cage match that him and Bully Ray have ever seen. Listen, I don't want to tell you guys to not listen to Bust It Open anymore, but I'm kind of saying, like, come and holler at real fans versus these merchants, bro. That's the best way I could say it. You know who they work with, right? Bully Ray's on a WWE show. Tommy Dreamer's with TNA, who works with WWE. We got to stop this right now. We have to. Listen, CM Punk is a master of wizardry, right? Mm-hmm. He did not get suplexed off the top of the cage, guys. Number one, Punk is too smart for that. Number two, he was like, you know what? I'm going to drape myself over and it'll look like it's from the top of the cage. And if Michael Cole and Pat McAfee yell it enough times, they'll say that and people will believe it. He got suplexed off the top rope, guys. I don't know. People were bugging in this cage match a little bit, I thought. Well, it was a good cage match. I enjoyed it, but
it was.
Yeah, but am I wrong in what I'm saying, Sean? I don't know, man.
I think you're right on the money, to be honest with you.
To me, it was, I don't know. I prefer the other cage match. And I know that was what the comparison was going to be. As soon as this was happening the day after PPV, people were going to compare the cage matches. Seth did his thing here. He ends up getting the win, but well, first Roman Reigns returned back. He pulled Seth out of that cage. And a movie came to mind, but you got to stick around all the way to the end to figure out what movie I'm talking about. He pulls him out the cage and puts a beat down on him, right? And now he has a new shirt. It's YTC, your tribal chief. And then he sees this. And I felt like, Sean, have you ever seen people who are in a relationship? They're like, yo, is that my girl talking to her ex? What is going on?
He did the double take.
That's how Roman looked. He was like, I know you ain't in there talking to him. And Paul Heyman's the best because he was like, my tribal chief, it's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like, sir. And
she was just coming over to talk.
The foolishness of wrestling just makes me laugh. It's probably why I love it. Roman Reigns beats down Punk, and it looks like we're heading towards this three-way. I mean, Heyman comes out on SmackDown. He kind of cut a heel promo. It was weird. And he was like, Roman Reigns returns to SmackDown next week.
Yeah, heading towards a three-way. That's what she said.
Yeah, so what do you think, bro? What do you think?
Well, I mean, look, it's a triple threat with no title on the line. I pray that this is going to lead to a situation where the winner of this match gets a chance to be added to the match at the end of WrestleMania Night 2. That's the only thing that I could think of, because when this rumor started about a triple threat, by the way, I threw in the chat what I would call Cena and Rock. To me, it's a situation where, like, you know, WWE, when they announced, well, when they started planting the seeds for this triple threat, I mean, with no title, I don't care if it's Seth, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. To me, that's whack, bro. That's corny. Now, only way I think they could save it is if they had a situation where it was a number one contender. They changed it to a number one contender match where the winner goes on to be added to Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
Fair. I'm going to the chat here for their comments, and then I'm going to put up what Hub said. So McKinney said cage match was fire. I can certainly agree with that. Rob says it's engagement bait. You click, you watch, you comment, they get paid. First, I can promise you this. Big Daddy Kush did not click, did not watch, and did not care. I shouldn't say I didn't care because I cared enough to comment on it, but I did not click. I did not do any of that. I found this out yesterday that Tommy Dreamer put these tips on it, and I saw Bully Ray getting cooked online and, like, you know, where people just take the screenshots of it. And yeah, that was the best cage match I've ever seen in my life. And they just went off on him for it. So I get it, man. I don't know. I couldn't be doing that stuff for views, man. Like, that's just me. Bubba got that WWE check and became a shill for the company. Woo.
Pretty much.
That's usually not from Clown. Hub says the name for Rock and Cena, I'd call them the Empire. Oh, okay.
At least it makes a little bit of sense.
They'd have to have Roman join then. I don't know. That I always felt like that was going to be Roman's group's name, but they went with the Bloodline instead, which is, I think, a hot name. Like, that's probably better.
Yeah.
No matter how good the CM Punk Seth Rollins steel cage match was, I am not putting it above Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Not a chance.
Never, Quills. I agree with you completely.
Yeah, and when Tommy Dreamer said that whole, like, pick a cage match without blood that's better, I was instantly like, Brett and Owen. Like, what are we talking about?
Brett Owens, no blood. Brett Owens, SummerSlam 94, easy.
Yeah, one of the best cage matches.
Yep.
I enjoyed the cage match with Riddle and Rollins, the Fight Pit one. Okay. Delay Gratz, welcome, my brother. Appreciate you. Slightly older than you, Hubs. Have a familiar fan experience from the childhood to now. WWE lost me from 2001 until 2014, then lost me again in 2018 until AEW. McKinney says three-way dance, number one contender at Backlash.
Yeah, I guess. But it's like, I mean, I feel you, McKinney, trying to make some chicken, sell out of chicken. You know what? To me, I mean, oh my goodness, a WrestleMania match, triple threat with no title on the line. I mean, they have to, like, to McKinney's point, they have to add a stipulation. They have to.
I think you have to put a number one contendership or something on there. And the rumor is that this might main event one of the nights. And I'm like, well, we know who they're going to take it from. But why would you do that then? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, and this is obviously going to be night one's main event, I assume, at this point now.
Yeah, and I want Roman to be free. By the way, this is a big spoiler for many, many months in advance. I want Roman to be free because I want it to be Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the title, for the World Heavyweight title. Face versus face. That was my dream match. I want to see babyface Roman versus babyface Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam.
Right? McKinney says wrestling is subjective. Like what you like and take what others say with a grain of salt. It's two different cage matches. One's with plunder, others don't enjoy. Yeah, and they both had interference, and I'm like, it's what it is, you know? Like, I think they were both good cage. I think they both were solid. Obviously, people are going to have preferences. You're going to prefer one over the other. Not a problem. You know, I just thought it was baiting a little bit to try to get people upset. Someone needs to kick Tommy Dreamer's leg out of his leg. Ospreay, okay, but it was a good cage match. If this triple threat main event's over Jey Uso and Gunther, I don't. This is tough because everyone says Roman's got the juice, but you need something in this. I guess we'll talk Mania card in the upcoming weeks, man. But you're the Jey Uso resident, like, leader of the fan club here, so
I have hope, and I'm gonna tell you why. I have hope because of what we saw today in Belgium,
Brussels.
Thank you, sir. Jey Uso at night instead of Jey Uso during the day, and as we all know, WrestleMania goes from day to night. Those lights that they do in Europe, when they bring out those lights and make it a light show when everybody's yeeting, is like something I've never seen before. It's absolutely electric. So my hope is that Jey, and I know that sounds like a really lame, shout out to M. Leezy for Sheezy. I know that's a really lame reason why I'm having hope that Jey will be last on the show, but that visual is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I'm hoping for the best, but I do have concerns but I mean, a non-title triple threat main event WrestleMania?
You know? What does that say about the belt? This goes back to why I wouldn't have booked Cody versus Gunther.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Because now you have told people what you think of it. Gunther, to me, since that moment, has been on a decline for, like, his level of importance. He's still putting on good matches, but it's like, you ain't Cody, brother.
Shout out to McKinney for his babyface versus babyface. Nah, I can't get jiggy with that one. Let me tell you why. And I'm going to be very brief with this. I've always felt like, and so has Conrad, always felt that, thank you, BJ. I appreciate that. BJ breaking it down that Brussels is the capital of Belgium. Just so you know, Sean, so you were both on it. I appreciate that, dude. I thought I was in the ballpark, but thank you. I've always said that Roman Reigns should acknowledge Jey Uso. Not as the tribal chief, just in a congratulatory way. The first time me and Conrad threw it out there was for Survivor Series, that Jey Uso should get the pin. They should play Roman Reigns music. Roman Reigns should say, cut the music, tell Jey to step out front. Everybody plays Jey's music on the way out. They throw the ones up. I always felt like Roman Reigns should acknowledge Jey Uso, not as a tribal chief, but as his own man. So the only way now I see that happening is Jey Uso defeating Roman Reigns. That's the only way it would happen. And for anybody who says that that's impossible, Solo Sikoa beat Roman Reigns clean. So my thing is Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, World Heavyweight Championship, Jey Uso gets the win, and finally Roman, because we all know, let's be honest, right, Conrad? Has Roman ever gave Jey his flowers?
No.
Never. To this day, Roman has not given Jey Uso his flowers.
So I'm trying to think, too, of what's the bigger ending for the show. Like, what's the big crescendo? You could do it where it's Jey, Jimmy. I don't know if you have Jimmy win the U.S. title.
I do have Jimmy winning the U.S. title.
What? You know?
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I have a question relating back to it. Why are we doing this to LA Knight? You should have just kept the belt on Nakamura then until then. That I would have been fine with that.
Nakamura should have kept. If Jay's going to win it, Nakamura should have kept it. I agree.
Or Jimmy, Big Jim.
I'm sorry, Jim. Yeah, if Big Jim was going to win, it should have stayed on Nakamura.
And I think Big Jim comes out and him and his brother have the moment in the ring like, yo, we both have singles gold. Look at what we've done. And then you could have Roman come out to acknowledge them that way as well. I mean, that could happen that way. Roman's like, well, I'm the number one contender. He hugs him, and then it's kind of he looks at the belt, and then Jay's like, oh, okay. all right, let's do it. Yay. And then they can get into it a little bit. But
if you, Conrad, if McKinney or anybody else thinks that my logic about having Roman lose to Jey Uso, if anybody feels like that's too extreme, maybe it is. All I'm saying is Roman needs to give Jey his flowers. I mean, or has Jimmy? Oh my God, bro! I don't want to make this a Jey Uso thing. Jimmy has given Jey Uso his flowers. Sami Zayn has given Jey Uso his flowers. Roman needs to give Jey Uso his flowers, man. I mean, are we really going to go through this storyline and let it just fade away and Roman never actually gives Jey Uso the nod?
Roman has never changed. The people just started cheering him. Roman's never been different. Like, Heyman cut that heel promo, and I was like, this is what it's been.
That's why I'm saying, Conrad, you couldn't be more right. You're 100% right. That's why I'm saying that Roman needs to do that. I'm looking at this, man. Marquee, Jey Uso in his third title defense against Roman Reigns, East Rutherford, New Jersey, SummerSlam. Jey Uso wins. I'm not looking for Roman to get down on his knees and say, I love you, Jey. You're the new tribal chief. Throw a one-up and let them play Jey's music. Is that too much to ask?
I would
Matter of fact, and let me ask you this one more question, and then it's all you, my brother. Is it too much to ask if Roman versus Jey and Jey winning at SummerSlam is too unrealistic? Is it too much to ask that when Jey, God willing, beats Gunther at WrestleMania, Roman doesn't come out and congratulate him?
You could do that. I also was thinking if we went with your idea, I think Jey wins. And then Roman's still in the ring, and he calls for the mic. He's like, "Get back here!" And Jay's like, "What? You want some more? What is that?" And then he was like, "Nah, it's your time now, Oos." And then he slaps him up. And then it's Taker.
Like goosebumps, man, goosebumps.
I wish I had the CM Punk clip right now so I could play
let's move on. I just think, okay, let's move on off of this question, yes or no. Do you think that the storyline needs for Roman to acknowledge Jey Uso?
All right, I'm going to answer this weirdly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should have something like that happen. But do I trust them to? No, I think that they might pivot and say they had to go and do something different, blah, 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 to avoid it. Calvin Johnson, or I said Calvin Johnson, Calvin Houston, excuse me, says, why does Triple H hate Austin Theory? Bro, I couldn't tell you what happened to Theory, bro. I have no idea.
I don't want to give, well, we got enough ones for us to talking about Raw a little bit, right?
Well, we're going to talk about it. I'll get to it towards the end.
All right, so I can say this real quick. Theory getting squashed on Raw. I mean, I love Jey Uso's my guy, but my goodness, that was uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. MJB says, I can tell whose time it really is. All gas, no brakes.
It's coming. It's coming. I agree with that.
Delayed Grant says NXT Black and Gold was legendary. He must be a little bit behind catching up with us. Yeah. Theory is a Vince product. True. Yeah, but I still think he had potential, though. I mean, we threw him out, man. He was the U.S. champ.
When are they going to break up that stupid team?
It's been a year they've been teasing.
Oh, my God.
Roman gave him that acknowledgement before War Games, and he finally said, yeet.
Maybe you're. I hope that McKinney makes a good point. I hope that's not all it is, though. But yeah,
Roman hasn't even apologized. Jocelyn, welcome. Lucha Brothers versus Street Profits versus Usos versus New Day. I hope they get to do those matches eventually. Now that I think about it, Roman fighting with CM Punk could change him back to full heel if they make it a three-way number one contender. Roman versus Jay Woodwork. Yeet. 4 is for Aleister Black. Yeah, I can agree with that. A-Town is way, way down.
That's a fact.
For sure.
I don't think Jey Uso has squashed anybody in his entire career until today.
I'm sure there's some tag teams we're missing, but yeah. You might be right.
Hey, my birthday.
Backlash coming Saturday, May 10th.
I'm holding on to 38 for dear life, Conrad.
Enterprise, St. Louis, Backlash. It's going down, man. It's not WrestleMania Backlash. I like this.
Yes. On my birthday, May 10th, 2025, I'll be 39 years old, and Randy Orton will be challenging John Cena for the... Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, my God.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Street Profits became the tag team champions. This is going to sound mean. It's about time.
It's about time. Yes, sir, indeed.
DIY, like, this is an example of not striking when the iron was hot with DIY. I think that you should have brought them up together, done the tag team. I think this would have worked so much better, like in 2018, 2020. But in 2025, this ain't it, Chief. Like, you had to get those belts off of them. I'm happy for the Street Profits, though. They look good. I thought that they did the darn thing there.
Look, Street Profits long overdue. When I found out, because I admit I did not know that they haven't been champions for 4 years, that's a disgrace.
Yeah, that was a long time. Someone said 8 down to 6 feet under to Matt. Theory is one of those guys that's just happy to be there, and with that mentality, why give you something good? You're here, you're happy, sorry, not sorry. It's politics. It's still hard to feel bad though during a regime change though, McKinney. Like, that sucks. Like, to be thinking at one day you were the next guy, and you could see that's what the plan was. Like, he's the next guy, and then it turned into, well, yeah, nah, not right now.
Yo, Austin Theory is the reason why we worry about Money in the Bank to this day. Mm-hmm. We worry about Money in the Bank being cashed in on the Intercontinental and the United States title because of Austin Theory. That's how much Triple H said, you're not my guy anymore.
I have a lot of weird feelings when it comes to it, man.
I think Austin Theory loves wrestling, and I hate to see a guy that loves wrestling not get an opportunity. But it's like you got to admit he was kind of forced down our throats with the era that came before this. Not
his fault though.
Yeah.
It was, the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. He was getting that push. Who's going to say no to that, especially if you're on the come up? Like, he basically makes it you need him to rise up.
But also, and I know we're talking about the same thing, he gets added, because I remember that to this day, he gets added to the Money in the Bank without even qualifying on the night of the match.
Preferential treatment. I think they were trying to get him over as the heel, but
yeah.
It backfired. Well, think about what he got for winning it. Here's the U.S. title. You failed to cash in on the mid-card U.S. title, and then you ended up winning it anyway and then losing it. And yeah, it's just been a fall from grace, man.
Yep.
He stole the egg, BJ said. Terrible. Rocket Soul Connection, hard pass. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, guys. Anything else you want to add about the Street Profits?
Again, about time. Very talented guys. I hope they hold it for a little while. And then I hope after they lose it, whenever that time comes, that they both get the singles push they deserve.
We bring back
because I believe it was 2 years ago. I believe Montez Ford was in the Elimination Chamber.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move this up. Here, I'm gonna ask you one more Legends question, and then let's talk a little Raw. Kind of quick, but we'll get into it a little.
Okay.
Sean, I asked this on TikTok. I'm asking you right now. What's an underrated WrestleMania for you? Chat, same question. Underrated. So not like, everyone thinks 17 is great. I don't want to hear that one unless you feel a certain way about it. What's a WrestleMania that people should go and check out? You can name a couple, whatever. I had a few that come to mind a little bit, but underrated WrestleMania, sir.
I believe. Pull that back up for me, please. Thank you. You can pull it back down. Thank you so much. I believe WrestleMania 37 was a very entertaining WrestleMania.
The ponchos.
Yes. I thought that they had a happy accident. What you're talking about, I think they had a happy accident with the weather being what it was, because those backstage interviews, those unscheduled backstage interviews before the pay-per-view started were pretty freaking cool. I like that. They were talking to Shane. They were talking to Seth Rollins. They were talking to Kevin Owens. I like that. I think that Bianca versus Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné was a fantastic match that was worthy of a WrestleMania main event. I thought they really put on.
Was that 37 or 38?
That was 37, night one. That was 37, night one. I think that the triple threat between Roman, Daniel Bryan, and Edge was a really, really good match. And another match you guys may not remember that was really good, even though we sometimes kind of think about it, kind of putting it on the back burner. I think that Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman in the cage was really good too. So underrated WrestleMania, I would go WrestleMania 37.
That's a good one. I went even further back. I think WrestleMania 14 is really good. I think people don't appreciate that one enough. There are nothing but great matches up and down the card. Even Taka Michinoku versus Aguilera, like super fly match. You had Owen Hart and Triple H in the what was it, the opener or second match?
No,
LOD.
They were third. They were third. The LOD match was opened up the show.
Was that okay? I couldn't remember if that was pre-show or not. With the
LOD.
By the way, they use that graphic every time for the Royal Rumble, and I always go, "Why?
Yeah.
Why that's not a Royal Rumble?"
LOD Battle Royal opened up the show. Nakamura successfully defending light heavyweight was second, and Triple H Owen Hart was third.
Taka.
Oh, what
you said Nakamura? You said Nakamura.
Oh, excuse me. Taka Michinoku was second, and Triple H versus Owen was third.
I don't know if Nakamura was cutting his teeth yet, doing wrestling yet.
Exactly, yeah.
BJ said, I want the Rocket Cena to hit that chocolate smooth tracksuit combo and call themselves Cocoa Pebbles. Oh, yeah, 36 doesn't get acknowledged. You know what? I have fond memories of 36, even though it was kind of weird watching it. But I just remember chilling with Derek, and we watched it together, and we were like eating chicken fingers that my mom had made us. I was like, man, I feel like I'm a kid again.
It's right here on the screen, so I'm giving it away. But ladies and gentlemen, what was the match that we did not know at the time, but it turned out to be the reason why literally Jey Uso's in the main event of WrestleMania 41? What match took place? I'm giving you a hint. You just had it on the screen 2 seconds ago, and you moved to the next comment. What match is the reason that Jey Uso is in the main event of WrestleMania 41?
Goldberg and Braun Strowman.
No, I thought you're a historian.
What do you mean?
That's the night that Jimmy got hurt.
No, but I'm also saying if Roman doesn't leave and has to, I've thought about it. I want to turn.
No. Give me what you were gonna say.
Yeah. So if Roman was supposed to be in that match,
right?
It was Roman and Goldberg was going to be the match, and instead he was like, "Nah, I think I want to turn heel." When he came back, he was like, it gave him leverage while he was gone. He was like, this isn't working. If he would have went out there for that match with Goldberg, it'd have been no different than Taker and all the stuff they had done in the lead up to it.
Okay.
So it's both.
Question. I love what you just did there, Conrad. Didn't even think of that. What is the bigger reason that right now Jey Uso is challenging for the world title at WrestleMania? Jimmy getting hurt or Roman pulling out of the Goldberg match?
I think equal.
Right.
I think it's a happy accident for him. Like, it just worked.
I love it.
Let me see here. 37 and 26. 26 is a good one too. I enjoyed 26.
20 is pretty freaking awesome. Like, isn't that Taker HBK too?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a good pick by LBZ.
But we're talking the whole show, though, too. I mean,
people crap on things that they shouldn't crap on. The legacy match was good. Brett and the former owner was good as far as storyline.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best match, but I wasn't expecting a match either.
Yeah.
Once again, this is why I said I don't know if anyone was in here when I had this argument with someone. This is why I said set your expectations low. It might have been when I was on Pro Wrestling Shoot, but set your expectations low sometimes. I'm not wrong for saying that, people. Jocelyn, hold on here. She said, I have Mercedes versus Bianca recorded on my phone. And Sean, you were right, too. 38 was Austin and Kevin Owens. I don't know. I always mix that match up with 37. Don't worry about it.
Let me ask you a question, Conrad. Are you human?
Absolutely.
Then you are entitled to have one slip up in the last 2.5 years, my brother.
Never again. Never again. So Mercedes and Sasha versus Bianca recorded on my phone. Yes, I cried. I love that match. I thought that match felt more like this is what women's wrestling deserves.
That's the first time, unless I'm mistaken, Conrad, I need you on this one. That's the first time I remember the hair whip.
It happened before because someone had a battle royal up from WrestleMania. Was there a battle royal for 37?
There was.
Or no,
but the one you're
35.
About was 35.
Yes. I think she whipped Becky Lynch in that one too.
Oh, really?
And then got eliminated. Yeah.
Okay.
The triple threat ladder match.
I think BJ was BJ. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were questioning if it was the match that sent Jimmy getting hurt, and I think that's the correct answer.
Yeah. Speaking of that, someone put maybe WrestleMania 2000. I wouldn't put WrestleMania 2000 on there. I actually feel like this WrestleMania is turning into that a little bit. Like everything's a multi-person.
Oh, look at my boy Quilly bringing up WrestleMania 26. He brought back to my remembrance Triple H versus Sheamus.
Yeah, I had just said that right before.
Yeah,
I don't know if you peeped it, but yeah.
Nice.
I like 19 and 25. 19, some people have as an all-time classic. 25 is we know why we're there.
25 got ruined by the main event.
But it does have one of my favorite it's probably my favorite WrestleMania match of all time.
Well, HBK Taker #1 is one of the greatest matches of all time. But Triple H and Randy Orton was one of the biggest disappointments of all time.
Yes. And I told Rob, I remember we were watching it, and I just said I remember watching that match, and I could feel like WrestleMania 24 and 25, like in between that time, is when I felt my love for wrestling coming back. Because I told him I didn't order any WrestleManias after 18. So this is the longest stretch. I didn't order 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's 5 years I didn't order WrestleMania.
Wow.
Like I would just catch up with it whenever. And once I had some money in my pocket that I'm like, I think I could afford to do this. Let's order this. And I remember that match. WrestleMania Night 1 was so darn good. If you could add fans to 2020, Drew beating Brock would have blew off the roof. I agree, McKinney.
And the match, and to McKinney's point, I think that match would have been longer.
Thank you, Quills. It was so Bianca was still in NXT then at that time. Bianca whipped Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 34.
Oh, and thank you, Quilly. I'm such a goofball.
We don't want to remember WrestleMania 34. That's an awful.
Yeah, but I'm such a goofball because we said 35. Becky main evented 35.
Oh yeah, dude. To me, but you see how they all start to clash.
Yes.
I can't remember any of the stuff. Like it gets weird. But you asked me, I remember Taka Michinoku versus Aguilera on WrestleMania 14. No,
ironic. Yes.
So remember this when y'all start getting old.
There you go.
All right, let's pull up Raw here, man. So we talked about Jey Uso squashing Theory. Honestly, it was probably. I mean, Jey Uso should have beat him. Let's just keep it a stack. But man, Theory, fall from grace, brother. Dakota Kai defeated Ivy Nile earlier. I don't really have much to say. Do something with Dakota if you're gonna do something.
I may start the Dakota Kai deserves better bandwagon. I'm not sure yet.
I like Ivy Nile too, though. Like you gotta do something with them. But I get it. You gotta have matches in the Intercontinental division and figure out what you're gonna do. I'll save the top one for last. Let's go with the opener and then we'll go with the main event. No holds barred, man. Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser. Is it okay, Sean? I'm getting into some AEW a little bit. Sorry, guys. Why are people going crazy for this? I asked myself this. Where were these people when Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling, where were you guys where Penta was around then?
Right.
And if you know now, okay, I get it. You didn't know maybe better. You didn't know he was there. That's fine.
Right.
Now you do. Wouldn't you want to go and see then let me see who else I can figure out who's going to come in the future? Makes sense. He was in AEW. He was putting on bangers over there too. I thought of it. And I'm going to say the same thing about Cody when I talk about him tonight. I just thought that too when I was watching. I'm just like, where were all of you before this? Right. He's so beloved. And I'm like, I just don't get it. But Penta, man, he made a bold claim after this.
Looking for that Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Macho Man strap. I like it. I just don't know if I'm ready for it right now. I know that sounds really messed up. I'm looking for Sami Zayn to be in that mix if he's healthy. I'm looking for I'm looking for Sheamus to possibly get over the hump. I don't know if I want to see Penta because I'm thinking WrestleMania. Is it wrong for me to be thinking about WrestleMania? It's WrestleMania season, so is the challenge for WrestleMania or?
You could go multiple ways with Penta. If Penta challenges before, then I think we're getting Penta and Ray versus the New Day. And I think New Day should just keep taking out LWO members till we get to that point because, like I said, Rey Mysterio looks terrible when he has a group and then he's like, I'm going to team with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That's tough to me. Is Penta about to become the Do you really want to like do this to Braun Breaker again too? I'm like, it's kind of like the LA Knight thing. Like he just kind of got his momentum going here again.
But I think Braun Breaker's different. I think if Braun Breaker loses the strap, I think you might as well just start counting it down until he's World Heavyweight Champion.
I think if he loses it, we need to move forward from it then and just let this brother like, all right, you're going to be the upper.
Look, we all know that Jey Uso winning the title for that month was the Jey Uso appreciation. I can't deny him anymore title, right? 28 days. Outside of that 28 days, Braun Breaker's been champion for 8 months.
Has it been that long?
SummerSlam. No?
Was it?
Yeah.
Hold on here. I'm pulling up the lineage. You keep talking.
Yeah, SummerSlam 2024, the night that Liv and Dom got together and all that stuff. He won the title that night. So we're talking about August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. That's 8 months minus the 28 days that Jey Uso had it. Am I right?
Hold on here. If I get another pop-up ad on this site, I'm going to lose my mind.
Uh-oh.
No, they just keep popping up.
Oh, okay.
Geez,
SummerSlam 2024.
No, I'm looking. Where is the Intercontinental title? Oh, it's because they have the new one up. Man, my eyes are like, what? All right. We just don't have stuff in order anymore, do we? All right. Let's see here. 2020 to present. Let's look.
Just look for just go to the SummerSlam card, bro.
October. Man.
No. Go to the SummerSlam card, bro.
No, it's right here. So Jey Uso won it September 23rd.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You got to exclude that 28 days. My point was he's been champion outside of that 28 days.
51 before that. So he's at 146 right now.
No, listen, you're not listening to me. SummerSlam. Since SummerSlam. He beat Sami Zayn. And then there was a little blip where he lost it to Jay and he got it right back. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Man, I don't know. We're attitude era kids. A month ain't a blip.
Oh, a month's not a blip? Okay.
That's a shut up, Rock.
What's a blip? That's 20. We all know what that title reign was about. That was just to give Jey Uso a little bit of a flower because the fans were killing everybody for it.
What you said is not wrong, though. It's more time than I thought.
Yeah, man.
To think, too. Just before that Gunther title reign, the last champ was Ricochet before that. Crazy.
Oh, Ricochet, that's who he lost.
Even Jeff Hardy and them aren't that far removed. Big E and Apollo Crews, they're kind of like recent.
That's who Gunther beat Ricochet.
Yeah, just wild.
And I still say to this day, I'm not going to get religious on you, but if WrestleMania is 2 nights, why did Gunther have to lose it on the first night? My God, I'm still angry about the chat. Am I the only one who feels that way? We all know the number. I'm not going to repeat it. All they had to do was have him go the next day. It would have been 667. See, Triple H is a bad man. You can't tell me Triple H didn't realize what day it was.
That and he was probably like, yeah, this is perfect. Peace. I won't forget this number.
Yeah, but let's move on, bro.
McKinney said, come on, Conrad. Everyone doesn't watch everything, and you have to admit WWE's presentation of Penta is better than we've ever seen. I'm not going to say that. WWE got the kids wrapped up. To me, I prefer Lucha Underground Penta. If you're talking what was the best solo push Penta ever got, he was the star of that promotion. He was the guy.
I will say this, though. If he wins the Intercontinental Championship within the first 6 months of being in the company, then that's pretty significant.
Good for him. Good for him.
But nobody will ever have a bigger push than Carlito, Caribbean Cool.
McKinney's got to feel me too, though. But I don't like when people act like other stuff doesn't exist either. Don't act like New Japan doesn't exist and Okada's not good enough because they don't sell this many tickets. Well, it's a different world over there, brother. Mm-hmm. They present wrestling different. So don't act like something doesn't exist either. You know. Yeah. I think that goes both ways. I can meet in the middle and say, like, yeah, everyone doesn't watch everything, but I think you should be encouraged to check it out. Like I'm telling you, Clown just put it. Go watch Penta versus Vampiro and Lucha Underground. Go watch it. See what he's really capable of. Go watch him versus Marty the Moth Martinez.
Oh, my God. Listen, I'm sorry. I got to add this, man. Can you say dumpster fire? I'm talking about basketball for 30 seconds. Guys, the 76ers have announced that they are now also shutting down Paul George for the rest of the season.
Playoff P.
Can you say dumpster fire? They they have about $150 million sitting on the bench. Unbelievable. Philadelphia. Shout out to Philadelphia.
No, I owe Philadelphia. I'm glad they got playoff P from Clips. Thank you. LU Penta was the G. We all know the Triple H. I can't repeat that. Of all the bookers and promoters in history, who would you say does it to the T?
The bookers in history? Look, the greatest booker of all time is the man that should remain nameless. Let's call a spade a spade. Come on, bro. Like MJB, everybody, I'm not going to say his name. He's the greatest of all time. He just happens to be a bad person. You know what I'm talking about.
No comment. I think we all know. But
my question is, do you agree? Because I'm not happy to say it, but come on, man. Who's better?
He'll go down in history, I think. Listen, I was telling someone, if his name gets cleared, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to bring him up, or you know what I mean? Like distant, but they're gonna say, dude, no one else. He changed the way the business is viewed. He changed the way that it's presented. I don't want to give him credit for everything, but that's just what it is.
Here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. We don't like to admit something. Okay, let's use Hogan, for example. It's a little bit easier to use the word Hogan than the other guy. Hogan is a Mount Rushmore guy. We don't have to like him. I don't like him. I don't. But does that change the fact that he's a Mount Rushmore guy? It doesn't. So, when it comes to the former owner and booker of World Wrestling Entertainment, he's not a good person, but he's the greatest booker in the history of the business. There's nothing wrong with two facts being factual.
I'm trying to think if there's another name that we could put out there, too, for great booker. No, just besides him, though, because everybody, okay.
Well, I mean, Eric Bischoff was really good.
Gato for the reprise of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
McKinney, this is why I get mad. I'm looking right at you when I'm saying this. I sat through Enochiism. Do you know what that is, good sir? I watched that on YouTube back then. So don't tell me about bad pro wrestling. I was there, and this is why sometimes I'll preach New Japan Pro Wrestling is good. And do you know why I love New Japan Pro Wrestling? Because of WCW. Brian Pillman introduced me to Jushin Thunder Liger, and I was watching Sting against Great Muta. And when I saw all of those things happen, I was like, what is New Japan Pro Wrestling? I should look that up. And for years, even as a kid, I always thought about it. And then I was like, there's this new thing called YouTube. I wonder if they have New Japan clips on here. I haven't seen that in years. I started looking them up, and then I saw new stuff, and then I watched really bad Enochiism wrestling, and then we got someone named Kazuchika Okada, and then we got Shinsuke Nakamura, Naito, and I had seen these guys before. Really dope, man. So Gato did turn around there. I think Vern Gagne has to get a shout out.
Shout out to T. Ferg. He brought up Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman. Another guy who I wouldn't be surprised if people wanted to strangle in the history of wrestling, though, because he didn't pay you your money.
Right.
But yeah,
I think we need to just kind of like take a step back and realize, and I'm giving myself some grace too, guys. I'm giving you guys some insight, Conrad. I'm giving you some insight to my own thinking about myself. It's like, I can never say that Hogan was one of the greatest of all time because Hogan has said some racist things. Yes, I can. I don't like the kind of person that he is. I don't respect him, but he's still one of the greatest of all time. And when it comes to the other guy who used to run WWE, he's not a good person, but he's still the greatest booker of all time.
Yeah. Triple H, Black and Gold deserves credit. Like I said, we'd be here all day if we want to talk about who was good. Paul Bosch in Texas. You could get really deep into this. Maybe that'll be another subject for another time. But yeah, really good question. I think who asked that? MJB? I don't remember now who.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, and I got to give Clown. I don't think you could read the comment. I got to give Clown a big thumbs up for his most recent comment.
Hogan was great. Terry, yeah. Terry Bollea, yeah.
Yep.
BJ, real quick, he said, also, I think Delirious deserves a nod of approval for his ROH work. Maybe not post-MSG, but all the builds and working with New Japan during that time was good. If you actually pay attention, now I'm about to give you some real insider baseball. If you actually watch a Booker's great run usually goes 3 to 4 years if you're really good. I want you to think about other places. Think about your favorite place in their time period. Mm. How long did it last usually? 3 to 4 years, I'd say. Then you see a little bit of a decline. And then what happens is that person needs a break, and then they can build back up. Triple H was in charge of NXT. He got a little bit of a break. Here, you take over WWE. I'm back. And then, now you've got ideas again. Holla at me in a couple years with Triple H. Let's see how you're feeling then. Some people might, and I'm starting to see the fatigue set in a little bit now. It was the same thing with Bill Watts in WCW. It was the same thing with Bill Watts running his promotions. Vince McMahon in the 80s, that's probably the longest stretch. He had like a good five-year stretch there from 85 to, when would you say the downfall began, Sean? 91, 2?
It was the tail end of 90.
Yeah, the downfall began there, but then he found a way to dust himself off again in 97. He found a way to do it, and off to the races. Eric Bischoff's run, how long did it last? 3 years.
3 years. What did I say about AEW? I said 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Yep. 2019. Some people enjoyed till 22, maybe. 22. You started
hearing the rumbles about 22, 23.
Then people want to go somewhere else. You'll see. Listen, I brought up all those people for a reason before. You're going to start hearing the rumblings of, like I said, if you're a top guy, you're good. If you're Braun Breaker, you're good.
Right.
What about Theory? What about Ludwig Kaiser? Ivy Nile? How long do you before these guys get?
It looks like Ludwig Kaiser's getting a thumbs up.
No, he's in a lot of matches, but he loses a lot.
Yeah, true.
Eventually, you got to say, well, when do I get my day to shine, you know?
T. Ferg, great point, kid. Shout out to T. Ferg.
He said, how was that directed at me, sir? You punished yourself watching that just as I did with WWE in 93, 94. What I'm saying is I don't give up on things. I'm trying to tell people to watch other things. Go watch Penta and Lucha Underground. It's a treat. McKinney, if you like Penta, I guarantee you will enjoy Lucha Underground. And then I hope you see what I see, and then you'll be like, this stuff is child's play compared to what he was doing over there. He was the guy. He was like Roman Reigns of Lucha Underground.
There you go.
That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. ROH's booking 2014 to 2019 was so good. Yep, Deep South Pro Wrestling. 2012 to 2019 was a good run for ROH. Yeah, they had their up and down moments because they lose a lot of talent too, so you're forced to change a lot.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Good point. Shout out to T. Ferg. Dusty Rhodes, fantastic. But to M. Leezy's point that Conrad just touched on, some of these promotions, ECW comes to mind, Ring of Honor comes to mind. Once they start cooking, the guys leave. That's the problem.
You know who had a really good way of doing it? Memphis. Jerry the King Lawler would book for 6 months, and then Jerry Jarrett would book for 6 months because King wanted to. I think he was like a fan of the Cleveland Browns. He would go to the games, and he was like, I need some time off. You take the book. And it allowed them both to stay fresh. Fresh ideas constantly coming in. The Balor Breaker match better be the best match I see all year, the way they were hyping it up on Raw. Spoiler about to come in on that. Finn Balor's back. So, yeah, we could leave it with that. I think we're going to end up getting something with Dominic. And someone said he made an overture towards adding a new member to Judgment Day.
Yes, he did. So here we go. We're going to give our wonderful audience an opportunity to we don't want you guys to leave. But here comes the Monday Night Raw. We don't want to call it spoilers because the whole world had a chance to see the show at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's not a spoiler, right? It's not a pre-taped show where we got the results. This is just reporting on what just took place. But if you don't want to hear the results, you might want to just click out and come back and see us later. But here we go. Finn Balor was approached by Dominic, and the word on the curb was that he was saying that he wanted to bring in Penta as the newest member of Judgment Day. However, right after thanking Dominic for getting him the title shot, right after thanking Dominic for being his brother and his good friend, he immediately called Dominic a snake because just previously, Penta announced his desire to be Intercontinental Champion. And obviously, we know that Finn Balor was walking into an Intercontinental Championship match against Braun Breaker.
The plot thickens. Judgment Day's fall from grace is something else.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing in a bad way.
But I think if you could add Penta to it and figure something out.
No.
Well, let me say
the obvious choice, my brother.
Who?
The obvious choice to add to Judgment Day is Karrion Kross. Give that man a lifeline.
Who's the leader, though? Him or Dominic?
That would be Dominic.
Okay. So taking orders from the kid now.
Yeah, it's Dominic's time.
Yeah, interesting.
How about Dominic versus Finn for leadership of the Judgment Day at WrestleMania?
Could be that. I can see that happening. Oh. Now, I say this because do you think they're going to put Penta and Phoenix together? Do you think they'll be able to resist?
No, because WWE takes the easy way out.
I don't think they're going to do it right away. I think they're going to put Phoenix on SmackDown, but that's just a speculative, let's see what happens.
You're entitled to your opinion, and you're giving WWE a lot of credit.
I'm trying, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Sullivan was a good booker. Yes.
He made some bad decisions. Shout out to him, but he made some bad decisions.
You already mentioned Andrade again. I know of Penta Dark. I'm saying WWE has a new and old fans that don't watch everything. But yes, if you're interested in said character, you'll search more. But until then, WWE presents Penta Fire. Dom was also spotted backstage talking to Cross. That's something always to peep.
There you go.
Cross is usually the bad things are about to happen within the group. I'm guessing we won't see another Finn Balor WWE title run. No, I think it's over. Honestly, I've given up on that.
It's a shame. We'll never know what that first Universal title reign would have been. However, hopefully, see, the problem is not just him never being world champion again. The problem is him not being booked properly again. I mean, why can't Finn Balor be Intercontinental Champion? Answer me that.
He was.
So
yeah, maybe they can get him back to that point. And I guess let's talk this main event segment here where it was John Cena. People were wondering, is he going to have a new theme, Sean? Is he going to come out there and, be different? He came out with jorts on and a new shirt, and people bought it still. And they just chanted John Cena sucks. So we're back to where we were kind of. And there was a lot of cussing in this. From the fans and everything else. And Cody came out and talked. If someone beat me up like that, I'm throwing hands. But Cody came out and talked to John Cena and called him a whiny bee and all that. What did you think of the segment?
I think that when I look and listen at John Cena, first of all, it was disappointing to hear there was no new music and disappointing to see that the wardrobe was the same. But when that man got on that microphone and started talking, I have only one thing to say about John Cena's promo.
Is this good or sarcastic?
No lies detected. No cap detected. What did John Cena say that was wrong? We don't appreciate him. We are not thankful for his 25 years of service. I say Cena sucks. You say Cena sucks. He doesn't deserve us. He doesn't deserve to be disrespected the way he does. And now he's had enough. And I could not be more excited. I love heel Cena. Sign me up.
I feel like this is your hatred for Cody bleeding through this. I felt weird about this.
A little bit.
A little. So I felt like it felt not connected. I feel like this doesn't. I feel like there's too many plugs going through. If that makes sense. Like you ever had like multiple outlets and then there's plugs all over the place.
Sure.
So John Cena's with The Rock. Well, where's The Rock?
Well, The Rock's
He's not there.
Yeah.
But Cena hasn't been here for 2 or 3 weeks. So, you kind of move on from it. I'm trying to connect with Jay's story. I'm trying to connect with Punk's story and Roman and what they've got going on in the tag titles and this and that. And you kind of just, it loses you. Cody cut promos for 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah. Go fly and find him then,
Mm-hmm.
We're not there. So I'm like, all right, here's Cena's big moment. He comes out looking the same. And I don't know if MJB means he's going to dress differently at WrestleMania or what, but
and by the way, as you continue your point, I want you to know I was disappointed that there was no wardrobe or music change.
Yeah, it was just everything was the same, and I was just like, okay. And Cena went back, and the fans were starting to feel him. It just feels weird a little, like, what are you mad about? Like they were liking you, and he kind of just got to say like, yeah, the pent up anger and frustration got to him. I'm not saying that it's a dud. I'm not saying like it's not going to work. I feel weird though about this. And I think they took too much time off. Like for this to be, we talked about Bash at the Beach for like that level. And I don't want to do the full comparison for everything with it because it's going to be different. But you needed that heat right away when it was on people's minds. Like the next night he should have been out there.
By the way, just to let you know, and I'm sure you know, this will come to your remembrance. WCW took 8 days.
Yeah, that's fine to build anticipation. Okay. This was how many weeks? 2, 3?
Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah.
I feel like you could have done it. The crowd in Brussels, yeah, they were going in. Rocking those McDonald's sponsorship colors. He had a lot of colors on there. He had the Rise Above Hate. I was like, what are we doing, fam? What are we doing? And Cody came out and cut his promo. I'll wrestle. You want some? Come get some.
Dude is such a cornball.
He's a likable cornball.
Oh, he's corny, bro. I like Cody too. I've never disliked Cody, but that brother needs to tweak his character, man.
Do you think he would have benefited more if he would have took Rock up on it? Because Cena was the second option.
Yes, even if yes, turn heel, please. It's too late now.
Yeah.
Unless Cody is in on it.
Could be interesting, but
they're facing each other at WrestleMania, so it's hard.
Yeah. Everything, like I said, just felt very weird. And maybe like MJB said, maybe at WrestleMania is where we get the turn and we change it all up and they hear people. But I'm interested to see what people think, how we move on from this. This is the main event of night 2, though, right? This is the biggest match on the card, I assume. Cody and Cena.
Jey Uso versus Gunther's main event of night 2.
This guy over here. It probably should be according to the rules, but
no. Honestly, we'll be fortunate if Jey Uso's main event at night 1. Undoubtedly, it's going to be Cena versus Cody. Yep.
Okay. All right. Guys, we're getting ready to rizap it up here, but TNA Wrestling, they had a nice little show this weekend. Sacrifice. Getting into it. We had like Frankie Kazarian, Steve Macklin on the card. First Class versus Laredo Kid and Octagon Jr. Mm-hmm. Sammy Callahan and Mance Warner. I do not want to tell you where Staples went, but you should probably go and check that out. Oh, I did like the women's knockouts tag title match here with Spitfire versus Ash and Heather of Elegance, and they had and their manager was out there with them. I thought he was hilarious in the match. Reminded me of like Mr. Fuji, like teaming with Demolition
and throwing up in my mouth.
Leave that brother alone. Lei Ying Ling was in action.
Yes.
We also had the Rascals and Ace Austin going up against Wesley and Crew. Felt good to see TNA get a win over NXT talent. I'm sure brother Wesley had no issues helping his friends out. One of my favorite matches, Sean, Mustafa Ali, Santana. I like the feud.
I told you I was looking forward to that match.
I told you too. I'm telling you, that's the match to watch. And I thought Ali leaving the drink by him was a little crass, but at the same time it worked based on the struggles that Santana has talked about. This is a blood feud that I need to have go on at least until Slammiversary. Yep. You can get some mileage out of this.
That's the old Jerry Lawler, Jake the Snake spot.
Oh yeah, or Jericho and Punk.
Yep, Jericho Punk as well. Yep.
Yeah. Let me see here. We had Moose and Jeff Hardy in a ladder match. Brutal.
The right man won.
Yes. Masha Slamovich versus Cora Jade. I thought this was going to be a little bit more competitive. Masha just did her thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Masha's got to be next on the NXT hit list. Gotta be.
Show dominance. Cora Jade kind of disappointing if you look at it from a Cora Jade fan standpoint.
Yeah. And then we had that cage match with Leon Slater, Nick Nemeth, Elias, Joe Hendry, Matt Hardy taking on the Colognes and the System. Was there anyone else different on that team? Was it all the System guys? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the System and the Colognes, yep.
Yeah, we know what happened. The System and the Colognes got whooped on. The babyface celebrate, and then it happened.
He's here to show the world.
My brother. By the way, there's an update on his loss, so I'm not talking about it. My brother. Tony Khan actually went to dismiss it. There you go. That's the most you're gonna get from me on it.
There you go. Let's keep
he locked the cage, and this man put a beating on Matt Hardy. So it looks like him and his brother are gonna challenge for the TNA tag titles. The Hardys versus the Nemeths. I didn't know I needed that in 2025, but
I didn't think I needed that in 2025, and we don't need that in 2025. But what we do need is Nick Nemeth being a heel, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah, I think that the whole babyface thing. Did we ever get an explanation for JBL? Are we ever getting one?
JBL was just clotheslining people with no explanation whatsoever, and we still haven't gotten one.
Clown said, "Who approved Redacted's look?" And we're just gonna call her Redacted. Yeah, I don't know. No comment on that, man. I'm just over it.
Well, look, I like Nick Nemeth as a heel, so that is a success for me. I thought the pay-per-view was pretty good overall.
Yeah, I thought it was solid for like their B pay-per-views. I was like, cool, go check it out. I'm interested to see what happens for Slammiversary. I know all that stuff's going to be coming your way soon at the UBS Arena. Under Siege is happening Friday, May 23rd, and they're also going to be having a taping after on the 24th. That's going to be happening in Brampton, Ontario at the CAA Center. Make sure you guys check it out. Tickets on sale now at ticketmaster.ca. So
yes, sir. Make sure you check it out on Triller TV.
Yes. Go on in. Here's your small little AEW stuff. Speedball Mike Bailey is All Elite. He has joined the crew, former TNA talent. Happy for Speedball. Really looking forward to seeing what he does here. I thought he was going to have like the same finisher and stuff, and then he hit that kick, and I was like, oh,
happy for him, not happy for his haircut.
The mullet's staying probably, brother, for now at least. But that's his style. Always been his style.
Terrible.
On this day, on Wednesday, we are getting a street fight for the Rated R Superstar Cope going up against Jon Moxley in a street fight here for the championship. I don't know if they're going to try to fix kind of what happened. I don't know if they can. Do you think this? I think this has to be a better match, though, Sean. Like, at least they get the plunder and stuff. They probably needed it.
Spoiler alert, I'll be watching at 10 p.m. on Wednesday night on the EPW channel. I'll be watching Conrad and Derek talk about this match, and we'll be talking about how Jon Moxley, in another underwhelming performance, is still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
I feel like people would say it about Cope too, though. I'm being fair because let me say this. I've been hearing a lot of Mercedes Hogan and Cope Hogan. I'm kind of tired of it. Like, that seems to be the new...
That's ridiculous. No, I don't.
Oh, no, bro, they don't want to take pins. They don't want to lose.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, come on, man. Come on. When you were talking about Hogan before. I was gonna say, "Oh, my neck, brother, you got me, got me, Taker. You gripped me too hard, man." On that tombstone.
When I think about 10 seconds, when I think about that story, how ridiculous that is. That tombstone, he had him up near his waistline, trying to make sure he was protecting him. Give me a break.
He said Shane told him, he's like, he didn't touch, right?
It's ridiculous.
I thought Ryan Nemeth was blackballed. Yeah, right. T-Ferg, yes, no comment. Further than that, I was acclimated, never broke up yet. Or the Acclaimed. I wish the Acclaimed never broke up yet. I like Max Caster. I really could see him and Cena doing something, but oh well. I don't know if Max Caster, me and Derek were speculating. I don't know if he's being punished or if this is leading to him and Bowens having the big matchup eventually.
Eventually,
one of the challenges
down the pike. Yep.
I hope the story is just JBL went on a bender and changed things. Terrible. Trent, welcome. Trent Hatchett. He says TNA needs to put the knockout tag team titles on Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. Could be happening.
I like that.
We haven't seen any titles really change hands too much. WrestleMania went off on Twitter on TNA. Correct me if I'm mistaken. I don't remember that. Okay, this street fight I feel will be better. It's Mox versus Cope with weapons. But once again, you have to go in knowing like, okay, Mox is going to win and this is going to further whatever Cope's doing next anyway. So fine. Dude, no matter the gimmick, this match is still going to absolutely suck.
I couldn't agree more.
Listen, we know what the end game is though, right? It's Swerve.
Well, that's the only thing. That's the light at the end of the by God tunnel, Swerve Strickland.
I think that they need to, if they don't have it in the cards, they need to consider doing a title switch though, because I think
Jesus Christ, yeah,
no, but he's got the Midas poop touch right now. Like anything Moxley touches is just not good. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything he could do to save himself. Like after he loses, send him away for a little bit. Like go take him.
M. Leezy says, save us, Swerve, and I could not agree more. I agree with him 100%. At this point, it's like Swerve needs to win to save us from this atrocity of a storyline.
Speaking of Hogan, where's Kiera Hogan? I thought she might have been injured. I can't say that for sure, T-Ferg.
Mm-hmm.
People may not like Max Caster, but he's on TV every week more than others. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Usually, Tony doesn't punish people by giving them TV time. If Megan Bain doesn't answer Max's open challenge once, it would be a waste. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't think they would. But that's all that I had for tonight's episode.
Yes, just want to say that it's been a pleasure and it continues to be a pleasure. I can now say officially, because even last week was kind of like a little bit of a tinge, I am back to 100% full strength. It was a really rough road, man. Full disclaimer, guys, please take care of yourselves. I did not have COVID. I got tested for COVID and the flu, and I tested positive for flu A 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. And then 2 weeks ago, I tested for flu B. That's how easy it is to get sick out here, man. Listen, I am a Lysol fiend. I am a hand sanitizer fiend. I don't care. I do what I have to do. Please take care of yourselves, man. All this talk about COVID, which you should be careful of, people are forgetting. The flu can take you out of here. Pneumonia can take you out of here. So please, please protect yourself. But I just want to say it really feels good to be really back to full strength because it was a long road to get back.
Always, man. Always. We appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm going to let Sean get ready to take us out of here. And like I said, we'll have the WrestleMania stuff coming up soon. Lots of things to talk about, lots of things to get into. So
yeah, WrestleMania season in full swing. Listen, make sure you check out Conrad and Derek this Wednesday night, 10 p.m. as they discuss the world title match that's going to take place on Everything Pro Wrestling. Imagine if you were the proprietor of AEW. AEW will be talked about on Everything Pro Wrestling this coming Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Once again, WrestleMania Hubbonomics will be taking place on the Friday before WrestleMania SmackDown. So make sure you look out for that. Set your calendars for that. And as always, man, we'll be right back here 6:05, God willing, next Monday night. So with that being said, on behalf of my good friend Conrad Cushman, my name is Sean Hubbard. We're always happy to have you here. And just know this, man. Be encouraged and know that at the end of the day, God bless, be encouraged, and evil never prevails. Until next week, later.
That's right, Seth. Call for your mama.
You're just a baby boy.